Now that I've got an edited version of the landscape to represent our post-treatment scenario, I'll go ahead and run a fire behavior model on that using the same inputs as we used in the Auto 97 landscape summary. We'll generate a report for each of those, and then we'll be able to compare our fire behavior for the pre and post edited landscape side by side. At the start of the course, I created an Auto 97 landscape summary for the entire landscape. Now I'm going to go ahead and do that same process just for our area of interest. Going to the cycle, landscape evaluation, landscape summary. I'll select our unedited landscape and our treatment areas, and then I'll select create report. Then I'll close out of this and create our landscape fire behavior for the edited landscape. So for that, I'll go to playground. And what I could do, and what's probably the quickest way, would be to just make a copy of this Auto 97 model run, change the landscape to include our edited landscape, and use that. I will create a new model run from scratch here, but before I go, I will show the copy feature. If you right-click on this and copy, and see our unedited landscape is up here, and all of the inputs used to run that landscape summary report have been saved. This can be really handy for gaming out different fuel moisture scenarios on a landscape where you can just make a copy, change a few values in here, and run a model run. And before I go, I will note that if we were to use this and change to our edited landscape, all these model inputs would stay the same except for fuel moisture conditioning. We still have conditions selected, but I got to go back in and select extreme for that. That is just something to watch out for. If you're using this copy feature and changing the landscape, it will save all the other inputs, but you may have to double check this fuel moisture condition. The reason that occurs is there are some landscapes that don't have the automatic extreme fuel moisture conditioning option available in IFTDSS. But just so we can see one of these run from scratch, I'll go ahead and go to playground. And we'll right click and make a quick note of these model inputs so that we can use them on this new run. Go to select model to run, and we have a few choices in here. Landscape fire behavior basic is the model that Auto 97 landscape summaries use. So select that and click create run. Select our edited landscape and start filling out the model parameters. Wind speed and direction, crown fire was left at default. Scott and Reinhardt, 100% fuel moisture. Our fuel moisture values. And we had just used one set of fuel moisture values for the entire landscape. I will note here that if we wanted to, we could add a row and specify specific fuel moisture values for specific fire behavior fuel models on our landscape. So that option's there if you want that level of control. I'll go ahead and remove this though, because we're just going to use this same set across the landscape. Fuel moisture conditioning, we had conditioning turned on and extreme selected. I'm just going to name this Granite Creek, then pile burn, then broadcast burn, 97th, so that I know these are 97th percentile model inputs. And I'll click run. You can see that that model's been initiated. And these do take a few minutes to run. Now that our model run is complete, I'll go into my workspace, right-click the newly created model run, select request report, and for area of interest, select our Granite Creek proposed treatment areas, and then create report. Now with our two reports complete, we can compare them side by side.